All right, YouTube. It's a little too quiet out here tonight. It's so quiet that it's spooky. Listen. The freaks come out at night. The freaks come out at night. Oh! Yeah, it's one of them nights where it's so quiet that it's scary. It's like the silence is gonna come up and get you real quick. Might be my night. But no, you know what? On some serious stuff, I find myself being in a very dark place lately, and I think there is no getting away from the fact that the more you know, the more you have an understanding of things. And you know what? As I'm doing this video, there was this car last night that just passed me, and I don't know what they're up to. They slowed down the other night and was backing up towards me. I don't know what they're doing. So who knows? Maybe you'll catch my murder on camera. Who knows? But yeah, they're up to something shady. I don't know what they're doing. You know, I don't trust people down here where I'm from. You know, people be robbing people and stopping and sticking up people and stuff. So who knows? But yeah, if I see them circling around or something, then I'll know they're up to something here. But I'm on this main road, so maybe they won't. But yeah, it seems like as I go further in my life, it's the more things that you know, and the more that you get honest with yourself with things, you start realizing that it can get very scary. You know, when you really come to terms with the horrors of life, and you come to terms with the blackness and vastness of space, and you come to terms with how nature really is, and you realize that we do everything to have as much comfort as we possibly can. And all of us are just looking for better here. You know, we're looking for better health. We're looking for, well, most people, I can't say everyone. Most people are looking for better health. They're looking to feel better. They're looking to live better. But you know what? No, I'm wrong about that. Most people are not looking to feel better, to discipline themselves to feel better. Most people want to feel better, but they won't do anything to discipline themselves in order to feel better. You know, they won't discipline themselves to eat better or to stop bad habits. And hey, that's what they do. That's what they do with their life. I can't, I kind of gave up on even telling people, hey, don't you think that smoking cigarettes can kill you? I mean, don't you think that you can get lung cancer eventually? Don't you think if you keep eating sweet snacks that your teeth are gonna rot away? And the reason why my teeth are still not so bad, because I know this is gonna sound disgusting when I tell you this, but when I was in my drug addiction, I wouldn't brush my teeth for weeks, maybe, like a month at a time. When I was in my drug addiction, I was very funky. It was nasty. It was really nasty. It was disgusting. And see, I didn't eat a lot of sugary snacks. I didn't eat a lot of sweet stuff. So that's why my teeth were saved, because I would eat, you know, like potatoes, soup, you know, stuffing. My pop would make meatloaf and stuff like that. So I didn't eat sweet stuff. I mean, I did eat sweet stuff, but not all the time, hardly ever. So that's what saved my teeth. I'm very surprised that my teeth are not rotting, you know, like a lot of my other family members and other people I know, because all they eat is sweet stuff. And I tell them, but they're not listening. It just goes, you know, it goes right past their head. So I don't even say nothing. I say, okay, well, in my head, you're gonna have to deal with it later, Jack. Not me, Jill, you know? I don't know what to tell you. I told you 100 times, and I'm done telling you. You know, I'm done giving the warning. But yeah, I just want to make kind of a bullshit video. I just want to talk some shit here about where I'm at lately with all of this. It's really awkward for me because I'm having some physical issues, and then I get in these mental ruts, these really bad mental ruts. Like I would say 2 or 3 times a year, I would say maybe twice or 3 times a year, I get in these really bad, I don't know if you want to call it bipolar, I don't know if you want to call it, it just feels like all the endorphins, all the feel-good things, all the like saying it's gonna be okay, it's another day, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's almost like it completely leaves my mind, and it feels like my head is hollow. It feels like I'm just like, I can't explain it. I feel like I'm empty. I feel like I don't want to do anything. I'm like, what is the point of doing this? What is the point of going on? I don't want to do this no more. And when I get like that, it's really scary. I can't lie, it's really scary. And that's what I've been in for the last probably close to a week now. And there's sometimes this will last it can last anywhere from a couple days to a couple weeks. And I had a pretty long spurt there where I wasn't feeling that bad for months. I mean, it was a very, very long stint there that I had. And then all of a sudden, I was listening to a video up in my room, and I just felt that feeling come on, like, what's the point? Why try? Why keep doing this? I give up. Like, it just comes. And I did a video last March, I think, on this same thing. It's kind of like my own pattern that goes on, and there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing. There is literally nothing I can do to help this from coming. It doesn't matter if I talk about it. It doesn't matter. See, this is what scares me. This is what kind of horrifies me about it, because I know that it's going to come. It always does. It always has my whole life. It's just this feeling of dread. It's this, what is the point feeling? It's this, well, it's gonna end anyway one day, so why am I gonna keep living? Why am I gonna keep taking care of myself? Why am I gonna brush my teeth? Why am I gonna go to the bathroom? Why am I gonna eat? Why am I gonna comb my hair? I don't wanna go to the food store, just nothing. And I know a lot of people know what I mean. I know there's a lot of people out there that understand when things like this happen. And like I said, I had a long streak there. I mean, I went for probably about 5 months. That wasn't too bad. I mean, I had days here and there that were, you know, like, this is a bullshit day, but it was only like a day or two. And then I got over it. But this is different. See, when this comes, this is like a complete shutdown. It's like my brain just completely gives up and gives in, and it's not, there's nothing there to provide that feeling that I need to keep going. You see, it almost like, it's like a button and it just shuts down and it shuts off. And it can last for a couple days, it can last for a week, it can last for a couple weeks. It all depends on what my brain decides to do. I have no control over it. And see, this is what people don't understand about mental health. This is why I will say, excuse me, I will say, this is why I can't hold a job. This is why I can't keep something going, because of this shit. This shit comes and it's something that kind of paralyzes me. It's something that it really, really, really thwarts and interrupts what I was doing and, you know, what I was going for and what I was thinking. It just completely knocks me off of that cradle from what I was doing. And when it comes, it's a very weird feeling. It's like your whole, it's like the person you were, it kind of goes away, but you still know things, but it's like, I can't explain it. I'm doing my best to explain it. It's very hard to pinpoint it. It's almost like everything that I was doing or thinking of or was driving me, it's not there anymore. It just goes. And it's like nothing matters. Nothing means anything. You know, it's like there's no reason for anything. And this is a big time. I can't even cope through this. There isn't even a cope that I have to cope with this, because there is no coping with it. It just comes, and the only thing that I could see even helping it or preventing it, therapy is not going to help this. The only thing that I could see is medication, or for me to get healthier or find out what's going on with my physical stuff, because it's very hard to explain someone who has these kinds of issues that I have, and why we are the way we are, and why I do the things I do, and how I can't see. This is why every time I'm on to something, or I'm getting somewhere, or I think I am, it just shuts down. But I still think of it, but it's like I need like a 2 or 3 week break for my mind to rejuvenate itself. You know, it's either I'm either having manias, and then I'm having I don't know what they call a low point, like a bipolar low point. You know, I don't know if that's what it is. It's what it sure as hell feels like. I've been going through this my whole life. You know, I've been having these ups and downs my whole life. So this is nothing new to me. This is nothing I haven't experienced. I have experienced this probably hundreds of times. If I can, let's say 3 times a year, and I'm 37, so I had about 100 some of these episodes, maybe even more, and I know how it is. I know how I am, and I know this is going to be off topic, but the more you know, it helps you to do certain things, but the more you know, and when this happens, it is something almost unexplainable. It's almost like you're dead, but you're not dead. You know, it's almost like you feel like you're breathing and you're awake, but you're dead. You're not even here. You're seeing people and you're listening to them, but every word they're saying is absolutely pointless. Every action that you see, all the things you see going on around you, nothing's interesting. Everything is just there and happening, and you're witnessing it, and you're going through it, and you're like, here we go. Gotta go do this now. Gotta go to the food store again. Gotta do this again. And tonight it's not as bad as the last couple days, but it's still lingering. It's still there lingering in my mind. And it's almost like, and with bipolar, what happens is your frontal lobe, it's something with your frontal lobe where the endorphins or something, the receptors are in the front, more in the front here. And then they end up going higher in the brain, like on top of your brain. And it's away from here, it's up here somewhere. And it does something strange. And that's how it feels. It literally feels like I'm focused on something and I'm seeing what I'm doing, and I'm like, okay, it's another day, gotta do what I gotta do, gotta comb my hair, gotta eat, gotta go to the store, and it's not a big deal. But then when this comes, everything is a big deal. I don't want to do anything. My brother wants me to help him parallel park. I don't want to go. I don't even want to go and talk with him. I don't even want to be around anybody when I'm like that, because all that it's going to be is my energy is going to, they're going to sense my energy. They're going to sense that I'm down and out. They're going to sense that I'm in one of these ruts, and all it's going to do is they'll ask questions or say, oh, well, don't be so down on yourself, or they'll start allowing my energy to get involved with their energy. And instead of them just doing what they do, they'll be looking at me like, okay, the problem going on with me. And see, this is why I don't like being around people, because I don't want to bring any of my shit to other people. I don't want to force it on them. I don't want them feeling what I feel. And this is why I do YouTube videos. This is why I come on here, because when you see, this is what people don't understand out there. When you are going through something very bad in life, or you're going through some kind of mental thing, or you're going through some kind of suffering, or you're going through some kind of pain where you lost someone you cared about, or anything, whatever you're going through. When you talk about that, you see, no matter how bad it hurts, no matter what you're going through, it doesn't matter. Still talk about it. Still tell other people about it. Still spread the word. Still spread the awareness of how you're feeling. And see, I don't see people, I don't like when people say energy vampires. Everybody needs to hear somebody sometime talk about how they're feeling in order for them to say, okay, I'm not the only one here. I know what you mean. It's almost like Mikasa Sukasa. When I'm down and out and I'm listening to someone that might not be so down and out, okay, that might help me out a little bit. It might help me get through the day. And that is maybe all that I need at that time, you see? But when we keep it to ourselves, see, if I would keep this to myself and I wouldn't do a video about it and I wouldn't talk about it and I wouldn't let anybody know, and I'd say, oh no, they can't know. They can't know what I'm going through. They can't know that I'm thinking of suicide. They can't know that I'm having a mental issue. They can't know that I see life as being pointless. They can't know that I think this, or I think that, or I feel this way, or I feel that way. Oh no, they can't know that, because if I expose that, then they're gonna look at me this way. See, I have killed that side of me. I don't care. I literally don't care about what anyone says anymore, because I realize they're going to get in a situation one time themselves too, where they're going to need to do the same thing. They're going to go through some shit. They're just foolish. They're just ignorant. They want to break someone down to make themselves feel better. See, this is why a lot of us do this, because we don't accept the fact of just doing it and talking about it and letting it be. We hold on to it and we keep it to ourselves. And then what we do is we berate another person, or we talk down on them, or we start scorning them, or we start tearing them down, or start, doing something to someone else because we didn't deal with it within ourselves. We didn't just get on a camera and let it out, or we didn't, make a YouTube video, or we didn't go to a therapist to just speak our mind, or we didn't do whatever we had to do when we were going through whatever we were going through. And this is what most people don't do. They keep this to themselves because of their worldly pride, because of what other people will think of them and what other people are going to say. And this is why I say, man, this is why validation, approval, expecting people to think of you a certain way, the greater the expectation, the higher the fall. Always remember that. If you're someone that is expecting a lot of stuff from people, or you're expecting someone to be a certain way, or you're expecting someone to like you, or you're expecting to fit in somewhere, or you're expecting this, expecting that, you're just expecting all of these things, and you have a high expectation, I'm sorry to say, but you are going to be highly, highly let down. And that's just the way of the world. And see, I don't have that expectation of others anymore. I don't expect them to react the way that I think they're going to react, because I know people are liable to react in all kinds of weird, strange ways, because like I said, humans do so much stuff because of ignorance, because they don't know. And this is why when you're someone that is the more you know, the more intelligent you are. I know this sucks to say, but it's true. The more intelligent you are and the more you know, the more you see how unintelligent other people are. The more you see how they may not be looking into things for themselves. They might not be taking it upon themselves to help with their situation or to control their situation, you see, or to take it upon themselves to do what they have to do about a situation so that they can get through it in a more smooth way, a smoother approach. And when people know less, then they don't know how to going about it, you know? And this is why I think, yes, with more knowledge comes more of kind of a burden on you because you know more and you realize more things. But at the same time, it helps you along, but then at the same time too, there's really nothing you can do about some things. It's just how things are, and letting things be how they are for some of us. We don't know how to let go of that control. We don't know how to say, okay, today is just one of those days. I am not trying to control anything. You see, I am not trying to make this day a better day. It's just one of those days. You see, I'm the kind of person, if I try to make something better, it almost makes me feel worse because I know I'm trying. I'm trying to get out of the situation. You see, this is just like when they say with people that are addicted to social media and being on their phones and all of that, when they don't get that dopamine fix, they need to keep going back to the phone. And if you take the phone away and they have to sit by themselves, it's going to be uncomfortable because you have to face the fact that you don't have something there to distract you. You know, you have to, when you have to get real with things, it sucks. And it's just, it's the way of our world, you know. And where I'm going here, I want to stop where I'm going with this because this is just, this is dumb. How I'm talking about this, I don't want to get into it like this because it's getting nowhere. But yeah, I find myself in this place where I'm ready to live and I'm ready for something to happen, or I'm ready to go. You know, I have just come to the end of an era in my life. I just said to myself, it's over, Nate. You know, it's done. Let that part of you die. You know, let that side of you die and get on to the next thing, you know, whatever that thing is. But then I'm terrified, but then at the same time, I don't even know. I don't know. I really don't know. It's just one of them times, you know, it's just one of them times in life. And, you know, when you're really getting real with yourself, you realize that everything that you're doing as of this moment, you're just doing to cope because you know most of what the world is doing is nonsense anyway. You know that it's just things to keep us hanging on for dear life. And when you start shedding that stuff, it's not going to be a pretty time, because all this stuff that was in your brain before, you're letting that go, and it's not there anymore. And you have to put something there, because if you don't put something there, then it's going to be empty space, and we don't know how to live with empty space. We don't know how to be minimalists, how to be frugal. We don't know how to say, okay, put the phone down, you know, put the computer away, let me sit here in a room and get my thoughts together. See, there was a time when I sat in a room by myself. People thought I was crazy. People thought I was nuts, but I could sit in a room by myself all day and night and just sit there doing nothing. Not reading, not watching anything, not listening to music. This is when I went to this faith-based place from 2009 to 2010. And when I was in there, I practiced being in silence and solitude. I would just sit in a room and I would sit there and I would just be aware. I would just, what is it called? It's called something when you sit and you're just, I forget what the word is. I hate when I can't think of these small little words. It pisses me off. But you just sit there and you're listening to what's around you, and you're not distracting yourself with anything. You know, I did this for a long period of time, and it was something that I did. It ain't that I wanted to do it, I just did it because there was nothing else for me to do. I wasn't interested in anything else. I was coming off of drugs. It was a very weird time. Like, this is a very weird time for me. You know, there's nowhere where I fit in. There's hardly anybody that is making something of their own today. You know, making something from scratch, making something from materials, making something from the ground up today. It's very hard to find people like this because we are kind of in a follower generation. We're not in a fan generation. We're in a follower generation now. There's a difference between followers and fans. And I don't want to get into what the difference is, but there's a big difference between followers that just follow anything, or fans that like hearing you speak or hearing you talk, or they like listening to your voice. You know, it all depends on what it is that they're into or what they like. Some people like soft voices. Some people like harsh voices. Some people like aggressive voices, and some people like very kind and gentle. It just all depends on the person. It all depends on their mood. And, you know, all these videos are really, it's just me freestyling my thoughts. It's just me freestyling words. It isn't about anything really. I just come out here to walk and get my heart pumping, and to do a video to speak about what's on my mind. Because my mind is different from what it was back when I would sit in a room. You see, I allowed myself to get back into overstimulating my mind with things. Now I'm addicted to YouTube. I'm addicted to making videos. I'm addicted to talking. I'm addicted to a lot of things again, but these aren't necessarily bad addictions, but they're not good either. You see, they're helping me cope, but at the same time, some of them, I admit, they're not good. They're not good for my brain. But it's what I have to do right now. It's what I'm doing to get through these days and to do it the best that I know how to do it. And, you know, getting back to that time when I sat in a room, I could literally sit there and just sit there and stare at the wall. I didn't need to hear music. I didn't need to watch TV. I didn't need to do anything. And that was a time where I had this peace of mind that I really can't explain to people. I had days where I was miserable. I had days where I was just like I am now. What's the point? Oh, here it goes again. It's back. You know, oh, I'm feeling like this. But I had one of the longest streaks that I had off drugs. I had like a year and 3 or 4 months off of drugs. So my brain was starting to heal a little bit, and I was just, see, they say it can take like 2 to 5 years for your brain to get back to its normal state. And I agree with that. I have been off of benzos for about 6-7 years, and it took years for me to stop getting severe panic attacks. And I still get them. I still get them here and there, but it's nowhere near like it was. And excuse me for spitting. I can't help it out here. Y'all already know that. I know it's disgusting to some people, but I can't help it. There's so much shit that gets in my nose. I don't know why the cold does that with my nose, but it does. But yeah, I'm not going to go on too much longer here. This is just one of them videos where it's not about nothing. And this is what I wanted to speak about too, before I get off of this video. When we're talking about things like a meaning in life, or a reason for living, or what's another word that we use? What's our purpose in life? This, to me, is literally the extra baggage in our life. It is what is keeping us heavy, is telling ourselves, what is my meaning? What is my purpose? And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with what I say. There might be people that agree with what I say, but either or, just hear me out. Searching for meaning is just, you're searching for something that you're looking for something in life. You're not really living life. You're searching for some kind of meaning in life. And here's how I see it. You either want to do something or you don't want to do something. You either will do something or you won't do something. I don't see any in-betweens. I don't see forcing anybody to go against their will or what they're gonna want to do or what they decide to do. It's just like with somebody that they might have some kind of thing that they want to do to seem popular, but they're really not into it. They just want to do it so that they can have others look at them and like them or say, hey, look what I'm doing, but I don't really want to do this. I'm just doing it for the attention. I'm just doing it to do it for the people, you know? And look, if people do that, they do that. That's none of my business. It's not my life and I don't care. But I know for me, this is literally the extra baggage in my life. This is the thing that keeps me heavy, is when I start thinking things like, well, what is the meaning of this? What is the point of this? What is the purpose of my life? This does nothing but make you worry. It does nothing but hold you down. It does nothing but keep you on this searching and hoping and waiting for something to come. And all along, your life is just passing you by. you know, and it's going to pass us by regardless. We can't stop the fact that life is passing us by. That's not what I'm saying. But, and how I was thinking of it earlier is not the way that I'm saying it now. It's nowhere near how I was saying it earlier in my mind. I'm not explaining it how I want to explain it. But, you know, when we're searching for this meaning, we're missing the whole point of living. You know, we're missing the whole, you know, and I don't want to start sounding like I'm preaching, because I'm done with that shit. That's just, it's too much of it. I realize now people are going to do what people do. There ain't nothing you're going to say to persuade someone to stop doing what they're doing or to keep doing what they're doing. They're either going to listen and hear something, or they're not going to listen and hear something. There's no point. It's just like with a little child. When you tell a little child no, and you tell them, no, don't play with that yellow toy over there, but you can play with all the red toys. When you leave the room, the child is going to go and mess with the yellow toy. That's just how human nature is. So you know what I've been thinking with this, and I know this sounds crazy, but maybe we should start encouraging people, and I know this is going to sound nuts, but it's reverse psychology. Maybe if we would start telling people to do the wrong things. Go do all the bad stuff. Oh no, that cigarette, smoke those cigarettes. Those cigarettes are good for you. Maybe they won't do it. If you say, look, you can mess with Cynthia, Natasha, Jessica, Caitlin, Katie, Tammy, you can mess with any girl you want. Go ahead, you can have her. Then nobody will want them. Nobody will want them. But if you say to a man, you can have Jessica, Cynthia, and Katie, but you cannot have Caitlin. You cannot touch Caitlin. She is off limits. She is completely off limits. That guy, that person, reverse psychology, they're going to lust after, they're going to be focused, laser pointed focus on Caitlin. You know, they're not going to look at the other girls that are, oh, here, you can have me, I'm here, I'm all yours, baby. They're not going to focus on them. They're going to focus on the thing that you say don't focus on. It's just like if you tell someone that goes to McDonald's every day not to eat burgers, more than likely they're going, you know, this is just how much of assholes we really are. It's how stupid we are. It's how mankind falls for these things without even realizing they're doing it. If you say, look, do not go to McDonald's and eat burgers, they're going to go to McDonald's and get more burgers. So maybe if we start saying, look, you can do whatever you want. You can eat whatever you want. You know, just do whatever you want. You know, I know that this might not work, but what I'm saying is with this reverse psychology thing, it's when you tell people don't, they do it. And when you tell people do something, they don't do it. So this is what I have found out about mankind and the human condition, is that this is how a majority of people are. They don't even realize that they do this. They're not even aware when they do this. They're like little children, you know, sorry to say, but most of the world is like little children. You know, you say, look, don't go out with those friends that are getting into trouble and throwing eggs at the houses and listening to corrupt music. I don't want you doing that, Tim. Tim is going to go out, he's going to throw eggs at the houses, he's going to listen to corrupt and violent music. That's what Tim's going to do, because Tim's a freaking idiot. You see, he's a primate idiot that doesn't realize what he's doing. You see, that's his nature. You know, that's a woman's nature. If I would tell a woman, look, I'm not into you. I'll never be into you. I want nothing to do with you. You're ugly. You're not my type. See you later. That woman would be infatuated with me if I did that. Now, if I said, look, man, you are beautiful and I am into you and I want you now. And I think of you every day. Oh my gosh, you're so hot. I want to be with you. Now see, I'm just using this as an example. I don't think like this at all no more. But then she will literally run for the hills, like the hills have eyes, people. She will look at me like one of those guys slobbering, come here, Caitlin. You know, then she'll run for the hills. You know, she'll scatter from me like before the lights even come on with the roaches. She'll scatter like a roach even before the light comes on, because that's their nature. That's how men and women are. They have always been like this. This is why a lot of human history has been the way that human history has been. This is why there's this appeal with evil. This is why people can't get enough of evil. This is why people watch violent stuff all the time. This is why they do all the things they do, because they don't even realize that reverse psychology is being played on them. You know, you say, oh no, I don't want you watching that scary movie. I don't want you watching them violent episodes of that show. That's not good for you. They're gonna go right and do it. So maybe if you say, hey, look, I need you to watch those shows. You are going to watch those violent, corrupt. You are going to watch this gory, terrifying show. You are going to watch this. I don't want to hear it. Then they won't do it. They won't do it. They'll go and watch Teletubbies or something, you know? And I'm just using these as, you know, stupid examples. I'm just being sarcastic here, but you know what I mean. But it's just, and the more that you see this, and you're someone that is similar to me, it's very hard to do something that people see. There's a saying that genius comes from mental illness. But the thing is, it's not that genius comes from mental illness. It's because that's what they label it as. They label it as mental illness because they don't understand it. They're the unintelligent ones. They're the ones not looking into things. They're the ones not willing to call out their own shit. They're the ones that are doing all of this normal, absurd, daily, everyday things that people do every day. And then they look at you and say you have mental illness because a genius has mental illness because they're different. No, actually, people that have mental illness most of the time are very intelligent people. They are people that have compassion beyond compassion, and they don't know how to channel that compassion, and it makes them mentally ill. It causes mental problems. You see, this is how some of my stuff has come about, because I didn't have an outlet to vent the things on my mind. I didn't have an outlet. That's why I'm out here doing what I'm doing now. That's why I'm out here making a video that I'm making right now, because this is the only outlet that I have right now. You know, I don't have some hot chick that I can bang and let off some steam. I don't have you know, friends to take a vacation with, and we're all into the same thing, because I'm not into what most people are into anymore. You know, I'm into a craft, I'm into art, I'm into philosophy, I'm into both the dark and the light. I'm into seeing everything. You know, I'm not worried about being on a side. I'm not worried about being with these people and it's me against them and just all that stuff I'm not into anymore. I don't even think like that anymore. It just, in order for me to make some people understand what I mean, you see, it's almost like these transitionings that you go through as you get older, and it's just a matter of time before some people come to realize this, but some people are not going to come to realize this because not everybody thinks the same, and the way people react with things, everybody is living life a different way because of the things they think. It's a mind game going on here. It all has to do with what's going on up in here. And when you realize what's going on up in here is just a game, it is a conditioned, indoctrinated, facade, illusion, delusion, I have a dream kind of game going on up here, and you're playing the game. And that's what we're doing. We're all playing the game. And if we got really, really honest and we got brutally into the truth, none of us could handle it. We just can't handle it as people. And we don't realize how fragile we are. We don't want to come to terms with how little and pathetic and weak and how desperate we really are here. You see what I'm saying? And this is where our pride is so big and our ego is so big and this me thing is so big, when actually it's not true. It's all a lie. All of that stuff is a lie. It's just one big game that people are playing in their heads. And if that would go, or they would get brutally honest with themselves, they would never be the same. And this has happened to me. And I can never go back to some of these things because I know what some of these things do. I know how it can get you in trouble. I know how it can get people hurt, even killed. I know the game. I know the game being played here by human nature and humans. And I know about reverse psychology, and I just, you know, there isn't too much that I don't know. And it's very hard to vent or to even have a real discussion with some people. I can't even have a real discussion with most people because I realize what I'm talking to is a projection of what they were conditioned with, of what they were brainwashed with, of what their college is telling them, of what their traditions told them. You know, oh, you got to get married one day to one girl and you got to be stuck in a relationship. And to anybody that's married, if you're married, you're married. You know, that's your life. I don't have anything against you. It's just not for me. And it just goes on, and people, you can't have an honest conversation because there's all of these things blocking you from getting to the real thing that they don't want to admit, they will never talk about, because they know that they have to be vulnerable, and they know they have to be weak and pathetic and look horrible and look like, oh, well, what can I really do? And that's just the way that it is, you know? Nobody ever wants to talk about the side of them that is so brutally honest with things that it hurts. It hurts, but yet again, it's honest. And see, This is what I'm literally doing right now. I'm getting so real with myself and I'm getting so honest with myself because I'm deconditioning my mind. I'm deconditioning my mind from all the junk that was put in my mind. And it is a long process. It is a scary, terrifying, horrific, nasty, depressing. It is a process that I can't explain to people. If you're not going through it, then more than likely, people are lying to themselves. If they're not going through something similar than what I'm going through, more than likely, they are living that kind of way with their pride, their, I'm so important and these things ain't important. And I could just go on and on with this, but and it's so hard to talk to people that if they have not come to this yet, if they have not let the mask and facade go, if they have not been willing to be brutally honest with things, I can't have a conversation with them. I can't even have a debate with these kind of people. And I hate to say these kind of people because they're people, but we are on two different planes of thinking here. It's this thing where I don't want to be on two different planes, but at the same time, I kind of do because it helps me to be a creator and an artist. But it's this conundrum. It's this silly, weird, strange conundrum going on that I can't live without and I can't live with. You see, and for me to explain that, people would look at me like I got 10 heads, like I'm the 10-headed carved pumpkin that rotted, a month ago, and it's stinking and it's nasty, and they're gonna look at me like, what is this guy talking about? But there's people, they know what I'm talking about, but they're just not willing to fully let go of it. They're still going by, what's another person gonna think of me if I let go? What is my mom and my dad and my family and my friends? Listen, you don't have any friends here. You don't have any friends here. If you have one real friend here that will not stab you in the back, that will come and pick you up in the middle of the night no matter what, that will feed you, that will help support you when you're in the shit and you didn't even want to get in the shit, and they help you. If you're somebody that has a friend like that, then let me tell you something. You are very, 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 very fortunate. Very fortunate. Because I haven't came across one person. There might be one person right now, and I'm not going to say who. There might be one person right now in the world that I can say actually supports me as a person. And now let me say there's a couple people, but I'm talking about when it comes to thick and thin, when it comes to you're absolutely broke or you don't have anything or you're not known or you're not famous or you're not good looking or whatever, how many people are going to, have compassion for you for what you are? But see, this is even a double-edged sword. This is even a double standard because a lot of people, they're keeping themselves in a very shitty position in their life. So I don't feel sorry for some of those people. I'm talking about people that have things happen that they didn't want to happen and they did what they could do to not have it happen, but it happened somehow. Like people that lost their job because they got cancer or something, and then they had to move in. The parents, the mom and the dad had to move in with the son, and it's a weird, awkward situation. I'm for those people. You see, I will, if I had it to give, I would support those people because I see that they were doing what they could do. They were doing what they could do with what they had and something didn't work out. But there's some people that, they just And I'm not even going to get into it. They're the opposite of that, you know? And anybody that has common sense or can think logically or is intelligent should know where I'm going from here with it. It's the opposite of that. You know, they don't want to do anything to help themselves. They don't want to do anything to do anything about anything. And sometimes I can't even blame them. This is what I had to swallow my pride with and say, Nate, you already know, you already know how people and the world, and how can you be mad at these people, or how can you take this so serious when you know that some people just don't know, or they don't want to know, or they don't care. You can't do anything. You can't do anything about it. You see, that kind of letting go, that kind of, I have no control over that, let that go and move on, you know? Doing that it's kind of hard for me to do because I expect people to be their best when they can be their best. I expect people to do what would need done in the most humane way. You see, for the welfare of themselves and others, even if they don't want to be here, or they're going through some hard shit, or they're whatever's going on in their life, you see. And there's always something that happens that makes someone like they are. And it's so hard not to judge people and to say something, but I know with me, I get very angry when I see something going on that is not fair, or I see how these crooks, these people that take advantage of people's misery, and these people that own pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies, how these crooks use people and abuse people. And America is so messed up. It's just so messed up with, there is pros and cons in America, and the cons are disgusting. The cons make me absolutely sick and furious when I think about them. Because these people in power, they don't give a shit about people that are suffering. They don't care one bit about people that got cancer, or people that are in a dark place somewhere with mental problems. They don't give two shits. They get their money, they get their payday, and they're smiling in the cameras and acting like they're signing these papers and they're doing something good for the communities and shit. And this is what we are all under. And we're all fighting each other. See, this is what most of us don't even see. And I can get into a whole series about this if I get into it. But we're fighting each other for crumbs when these rich cocksuckers at the top are watching us do this, and then we look at them like they have the answers, like they're the ones that know things and they're supposed to help things. They can't even help us. So how are they going to help anything, and they can't even help us? They can't, because they don't know. They're greedy, they're corrupt. They are literally profiting off of people's misery. They are profiting off of people being sick here. They are profiting off of our own foolishness to not recognize what is really going on here. And see, this is what makes me angry. This is what pisses me off. This is why I have so much righteous anger in me, because I see what's going on here, and I see what's going on behind the scenes. I look into things, I study and I research stuff, and I look into a lot of stuff. And when I see people not doing that, and then they're literally blinded, they don't even recognize that the people that they're looking up to are the crooks. They are the people stealing from them, raping them, pillaging them, getting over on them, taking their money, making them pay $25,000 to get a frickin', you know, some kind of surgery or something. You know, Canada and Cuba, they have free health care. You don't have to pay anything. So why are we doing it? Because of corrupt politicians, corrupt pharmaceutical people, corrupt, you know, what is it called? The places that make pills and all this stuff, the insurance companies, they are corrupt. They are completely corrupt, and all they do is lie to us, and we believe these lies. We believe this stuff. You know, I'm not saying that there is pros and cons to America, but the cons are absolutely, like I said, disgusting. There's pros to America too. There's definitely pros, but there's a lot of cons. And the cons of America, nobody wants to get into that. Nobody wants to talk about that. But we don't realize it's going to keep going this way until we face the cons and the people get together to do something about it. But that happening, that would take a revolution in and of itself. I mean, that would take a lot of people to do that. You know, one guy talking on a camera can't do too much. You know, I can spread only a very, very little bit of awareness. And if nobody else is doing it, then I'm all by myself. I'm just sitting here talking to myself about it and looking at the sky and going, well, nobody's hearing this. It's just me out here thinking of it. But yeah, I want to get deeper into that too, because I watched this thing called Sicko by the one film director. I can't think of his name. He made Fahrenheit 9/11 and a couple other films. But yeah, he did this thing in 2007 with people that don't have insurance, and they got denied and people died because of it. And it's crazy. And these corrupt people in power, they're making money off of it. They're laughing. They're greedy. It infuriates me so bad. I can't even describe to you how much I see people making profit off the suffering and misery of other people. If that doesn't get you just to the core of your compassion and empathy and whatever, then that person doesn't have a mind. You know, they don't have a conscience. And some people don't. And I can't even blame them. You know, some people don't have a conscience. Some people, and I'm not sitting here saying I have anything against them, but there's a lot of psychopaths that they can't really feel anything for other people or other things. So those people I can't blame, because there's something with their brain where they can't have empathy. They can't have compassion for another person. But I have compassion for them. I have empathy for them. It doesn't make me better. It doesn't make me more of a guy. It's just my brain is different. I do care when I see things like this. And, you know, I speak up about it because I know what it's like. I've been in those situations. I've been the guy suffering. I've been the guy with mental things. I've been the guy in drug addiction. I've been the guy with no insurance. I've been the guy that needed something and I couldn't get it before. I've been that guy. So I know. I've been in the dirt. I've been in hell before. So I know what the dirt and hell is like, you see? But anyway, y'all, this is just a video of me bullshitting right now. I'm going to let y'all go. So yeah, for anyone who, I forget who the name was, I think Joshua, thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. And anyone who has ever donated to my platform before, that really helps. You know, you don't understand how much that helps when I really, really need it. So thank you for that. And yeah, I got everything in the link if y'all want to help support my channel. And with that, I'm going to let you go because my neck is killing me. My arm is killing me. Like I said, I'm having some physical issues here, and that's not fun either. You know, having these physical problems, it really thwarts things too. It isn't just this mental stuff going on. It's physical things with me too. And, you know, if I don't get it taken care of now, it might get worse for me. it might get a lot worse for me. So I might not even be making videos much longer. I don't know. I really don't know. You know, I can't tell. Anything can happen. That's life, and just got to deal with it and cope with it. It's all I can keep doing. And that's what, you know, I'll say the word hope in this manner. I hope all of y'all keep coping. I hope all of y'all are doing whatever you got to do to get by. I hope you're being responsible. I hope that you are being aware of things. You know, I hope you're just not being another ignoramus or just doing whatever, just blatantly being whatever, you know. You know, we have to do this if anybody. You know, we have to be the ones to take accountability for some of the things that are going on here, because it's all of us. And, you know, none of us are excluded from this. But it's only going to be the tiny majority of us that actually see things and actually don't allow things or allow certain things to happen that should or shouldn't happen. You know, because we're aware of this, we know this, and we're being responsible. We're looking into things before we just do whatever gullibly. You know what I'm saying? So if we have more of those people here, then life can be a bit better. You know, I'm not saying that this is going to solve every problem or that changing something is going to help prevent the inevitable. I'm not saying any of that, but when we as the few are doing it, then maybe more people can see that. You know, maybe more people can hear you and be a testimony unto things that a lot of people don't want to talk about. And that's why I'm spreading this. That's why I'm still making videos. It's just to be aware of what we're doing until, you know, we hit the ground, you know, because what else can you do? You can't do anything else. And all that we can do is our best. That's all we can do is our best, and do it as responsibly as we can. And if you see something that you know is not right, are you gonna do something or not do something? You know, if it's a time to be brutally honest, are you going to be brutally honest, or are you going to run and hide like so many other people do? This is the problem with our world a lot of times too, is cowardice. It's cowardice and a lack of knowledge, because I know that I've been there. I've been a coward, and I have lacked the knowledge thereof to make the situation a smoother situation for other people. And, you know, this unnecessary suffering, this unnecessary happenings that happen is what really, it angers me. It pisses me off. It's why I do videos, because I know that there's someone somewhere right now that is suffering in silence, or sitting in a room suffering, or going through some kind of physical ailment. I know there's somebody out there that maybe hearing a word can help them a little bit. You know, I don't know. And that's why I just do this. I do it regardless of how I feel. I don't care if I'm on my deathbed. You know, it's like, I don't care if freaking however I feel. I'm still going to do it regardless, because someone else may need that for this moment, you see. And that's why we got to get out of ourselves. We got to quit making this about me all the time, because really what's happening right now, it's turning into this self-implosion thing is how I see it. I see society and people in it, and people a part of it, and people that don't have knowledge. It's going to come to this self-implosion thing. That's where I see it going, is self-implosion. And it's inevitable, but what I'm saying is we can make it a little more graceful. We can have a little more compassion. We can have a little bit more understanding of each other. You see, we can have a softer landing instead of a ferocious, just ripping each other apart in a just ignorant fashion. You see what I'm saying? It's just to from a 1 to 9, if it's a 9 with something, we can at least make it a 6 or a 7 instead of a 9. Or we can make it a 5 or 6 instead of 9. You know, if I'm using an example, I don't know what example to use, but if you fell off of a building from 2 stories, and there was nothing on the ground, well, at least we can put a little bit of padding there for the person that's falling. You know, we can at least put a couple pillows at the bottom so that they're not going to mess themselves up as much as what they would fall if the pillows weren't there. You know, that's the least that we can do for one another, is the little things. And then those little things can add up into bigger things when necessary. You see, it's a necessary, you know how they talk about a necessary evil and a necessary thing that you might not want, but sometimes you just need? You know, that's what a lot of these situations are. And it's a shame that it has to be this way sometimes, but it's life, you know, it's life. So anyway, I'm going to let y'all go with that. Just think about it, you know, think about it. Don't think too much, but don't not think at all. That's all I'm saying. And that's what neutrality means, you know. That's what I am through and through. I'm a neutral guy. I look at both things before I go for whatever I go for. I'm not just doing it out of blindness anymore. You see what I'm saying? I'm thinking about, okay, if I do it this way, what will happen? And if I don't do it, what will happen? Before I act out on something. I'm not just gullibly doing whatever because everybody else is doing it. And that's what most of the world does not see, or they don't want to see, or they're in denial of. And then it keeps going. All these stupid, extra baggage, dumb things happen. So anyway, with that, I'm out, y'all. Take care. And be easy and not too hard. Later. Turn this off with my nose.